Formal education. Education is classified into three categories on the basis of its structure. They are formal education, non-formal education and informal education. Formal education is the hierarchically structured, chronologically graded educational system running from primary school through the university. This includes, in addition to general academic studies, a variety of specialized programs and institutions for full-time technical and professional training. Thus, formal education corresponds to a systematic, organized education model structured and administered according to a given set of laws and norms, presenting a rather rigid curriculum as regards objectives, content and methodology. This is an examination oriented program in which students are loaded with knowledge. Formal education is rigid in many aspects. Formal education involves a number of formalities such as age of admission, textbooks, curriculum, syllabus, timetable, methods of teaching, qualification of teachers, inspection, supervision, award of certificates and examination. Formal education institutions are administratively, physically and curricularly organized and require from students a minimum classroom attendance. An institution is legally bound to conduct all the above formalities in formal education. To simply put, formal education corresponds to the education process normally adopted by schools and universities. The 5 distinguishable characteristics of formal learning include a predefined learning framework, sequential and organized learning events, the presence of a chosen teacher or trainer, the award of a certificate, credit or qualification and clear specification of external outcomes. All forms of formal education, right from primary education to higher education, can be said to serve 3 main purposes. Personal development. Formal education delivered through schools and universities aims to help individuals lift themselves to a higher state of character and augment their value as citizens by gaining a broad education before delving deeply into a particular field. Professional training. Formal education can also provide students with the technical skills required to pursue different trades or professions. It is imparted through trade schools, engineering schools or other professional education institutions. Credentialing. Some use formal education as a means of achieving credentials that can help in career growth, including promotions and higher salaries. Here, the focus is more on the certifications or degrees than learning itself. Certain aspects of formal education draw a lot of criticism, as some feel that it focuses more on methodology rather than on establishing and achieving desired behaviors. Subjects are presented in isolated units and efforts are seldom taken to establish a correlation between different subjects, impeding holistic learning. Assessments which are part of the curriculum are made more for administrative purposes and are rarely used to improve the educational process. Allegations that the objectives aimed at the personal growth of students are neglected and the basic principles of learning fail to be considered in the planning and the performance of education systems are also common. These allegations have resulted in many changes being made to the curriculum, methods of teaching and in evaluation procedure. Informal education. Informal education is seen by people in many ways. Some see it as the learning that goes on in daily life. Others may view informal education as the learning projects that we undertake for ourselves. And still others view informal education as the learning that comes as part of being involved in youth and community organizations. An individual is exposed to many kinds of learning in his life. Since an individual is under the influence of the surroundings, he learns from the events and experiences of his surroundings. Education received through indirect manner can be called informal education. Informal learning is semi-structured and occurs in a variety of places such as learning at home, work and through daily interactions and shared relationships among members of a society. This includes language acquisition and acquisition of cultural norms and manners. An individual learns language and the norms and standards of his living culture not through schools, but through daily interactions with home, family and society. An individual develops such skills. Informal learning for young people is an ongoing process that also occurs in a variety of places such as out of school time as well as in youth programs and at community centers. Informal education can be defined as the lifelong process whereby an individual acquires attitudes, values, skills and knowledge from daily experience and the educative influences and resources in his or her environment, from family and neighbors, from work and play, from the marketplace, the library and the mass media. But informal education tends to be unpredictable. We do not know where it might lead. Informal education is quite diverse from formal education and particularly from non-formal education, although in certain cases it is capable of maintaining a close relationship with both. The main characteristics of informal education are: informal education can take place in a variety of physical and social settings. It is mainly driven by conversation. In such a form of education, there is no regular or prescribed form. It is often taken place outside educational establishments. It does not necessarily include the objectives and subjects usually encompassed by the traditional curricula, and the time scales involved are likely to be highly variable and are often influenced by the dynamics of the institution. The class is not often professionally organized, but rather originates accidentally from changing practical requirements. It thus involves exploring and enlarging the experience. It is not necessarily planned, pedagogically conscious, systematically according to subjects, test and qualification oriented. It is experienced directly in its natural function of everyday life. Informal education is different from both the formal and the non-formal method of education. It is more a supplement to traditional education methods and has objectives and subjects that might not be encompassed by the more traditional and systematic methods of education. It imposes no obligations whatsoever and is meant as much for the general public as well as students, and therefore, does not result in degrees or certifications in most cases. Informal learning is more accessible than formal and non-formal method and imposes minimum restrictions. It is in most cases initiated by learners rather than by teachers. However, this form of learning is sometimes regarded more effective than traditional learning methods. Contextual, collaborative and experience based informal learning is organic and more holistic in spite of its arising from situations where learning is not the primary aim. The purpose of informal education is not different to any other form of education. Informal educators tend to emphasize on certain values. These include commitments to work for the well-being of all, respect the unique value and dignity of each human being, dialogue, equality and justice, democracy and the active involvement of people in the issues that affect their lives. Let us look at some examples for informal education. Visits to museums or scientific fairs, listening to educational or scientific radio or TV programs, reading educational texts, attending lectures and conferences. A closer look at these examples can help us see that if these activities are made more systematized it will be closer to non-formal education. Perhaps the classification of an act of education as formal, non-formal or informal cannot be made by examining it in isolation. A visit to a planetarium may be viewed as informal education if arising from a personal and spontaneous decision. However, such a visit can also be initiated as a part of a systematic curriculum associated to more traditional forms of education. The distinction between formal education and informal education are as follows. In formal education, severe formalities are occurred. In informal, no formalities are observed. Formal education is a planned and systematic activity, whereas informal education is an unplanned, non-purposive and unsystematic activity. Formal education has some predetermined aims, but informal education has no predetermined aims. Formal education starts and ends at a particular stage, but informal education is a lifelong process. In formal education, the individual is aware of the process of education. In informal education, the individual is not aware of the education process. Formal education is organized by some agency, whereas informal education is an unorganized process. Non-formal education. Non-formal education can be defined as any organized and sustained educational activity with a specific purpose provided outside the formal education system. Non-formal education is more learner centered than most formal education. Here, the human relationships are more informal, that is, roles of teachers and students are less rigid and often switch than in schools where student teacher and teacher administrator roles are hierarchical and seldom change in the short term. Non-formal education programs are usually designed to meet the needs of those people who are currently not participating in school education or those who could not receive sufficient education in the past. Non-formal education is a new concept which was developed after the publication of the report of the International Commission called Learning to Be. The Commission powerfully reasserted that education should contribute to every person's complete development, mind and body, intelligence, sensitivity, aesthetic appreciation and spirituality. All people should receive in their childhood and youth an education that equips them to develop their own independent, critical way of thinking and judgment so that they can make up their own minds on the best courses of action in the different circumstances in their lives. The report states that the aim of development is the complete fulfillment of man in all the richness of his personality, the complexity of his forms of expression and his various commitments. This human development, which begins at birth and continues all through a person's life, is a dialectic process which is based both on self-knowledge and on relationships with other people. It also presupposes successful personal experience. As a means of personality training, education should be a highly individualized process and at the same time an interactive social experience. Though many countries spend large amounts of money on education, a large majority of people do not get the benefits of education institutions. This group of people includes dropouts, working people, those who live far away from education institutions, wives, retired people and many others who are looking for information. The educational and intellectual needs of such people should be met with another system which is placed outside the traditional educational structures. The non-formal education system becomes important here. Non-formal education is more learner centered than most formal education and gives learners more options than in a more sequential and rigid curriculum. The main characteristics that define non-formal education include relevance to the needs of disadvantaged groups, a focus on clearly defined purposes, flexibility in organization and methods, concern with specific categories of individuals. It is oriented towards the learner and the learner's environments, non-authoritarian, built on learners' participation, mobilizes local resources, diversified in content and method, etc. Non-formal education gets its strength from its diversity. It can range from literacy education to vocational training. The mode of imparting this learning can also vary from community based literacy classes to distance education. The trainers or providers of this form of education are also diverse, and there is no fixed standard for certification as well. Non-formal learning occurs in a planned but highly adaptable way in institutions, organizations, the workplace and situations outside the spheres of formal or informal education. It shares with formal education the characteristic of being mediated, but the motivation for learning may be wholly intrinsic to the learner. Examples of non-formal education include continuing education courses, organized field trips and structured programs developed by organizations such as the Boy Scouts. The learner's objectives may be to increase skills and knowledge as well as to experience the emotional rewards associated with increased love for a subject or increased passion for learning. However, a large number of non-formal education activities involve acquisition of literacy and numeracy skills and of practical life skills relevant to the learner's daily life. In developing countries like ours, non-formal education programs are aimed at expanding basic education opportunities and equipping learners with knowledge and life skills focused on improving the quality of life of the learners. The contributions of non-formal education is not only limited to the education sector, but also extends to other development issues such as health and environment. There are several non-formal education programs designed to educate learners on health and sanitation, AIDS prevention, etc. This form of education can also be a powerful tool in facilitating better understanding of concepts like human rights, equality, freedom, tolerance and solidarity, thus encouraging community participation and thereby helping citizens to contribute to nation building. Most importantly, this form of education plays a critical role in ensuring basic education opportunity as a fundamental human right of all people, particularly for those who could not enroll in a school or had to drop out because of socio-economic circumstances. Differences between formal and non-formal education. The major differences between formal and non-formal education are as follows. Formal education is highly structured, organized and requires a minimum attendance from students and trainers. Whenever any of the set features that define formal education is absent, it acquires non-formal characteristics. Forms of education which offers flexibility in terms of curricula and methodology that are adapted to suit student interests and needs fit into the realm of non-formal education. Forms of education which do not insist on student attendance with decreased student teacher interaction, where most activities take place outside the institution, for instance in the form of home assignments, can also be termed as non-formal education. Formal education is rigid, whereas non-formal education is flexible. Whereas formal education is limited for a particular period of life, non-formal education is open ended. Formal education has fixed points of entry and exit. Non-formal education has flexible points of entry and exit. Formal education is imposed on the receiver and the level of interaction in formal education is minimal, but in non-formal education there is a process of sharing and exploring, and the level of interaction is very high. Formal education requires trained individuals to impart knowledge. In non-formal education, anyone who is willing to share his or her skill and knowledge with others can do so. Formal education is motivated by employment opportunities, whereas non-formal education is self-motivated. Formal education is authoritarian, but non-formal education is participatory. Non-formal education can be considered as a big umbrella under which there can be many programs such as non-formal education for children below school age. It includes preschool, balwadi, kindergarten, creche, etc. Non-formal education for children of school going age. This group includes the school dropouts, left outs and push outs. Remedial teaching, condensed courses and vocational courses are essential for this category. Non-formal education for people of 15 plus age group. There can be multiple programs in this. Correspondence courses and open university are examples of this. Non-formal education has played a significant role in the renewal of educational systems because of the diverse situations in which it can be used. The popular educative processes of correspondence learning, distance learning and open systems fall within the scope of non-formal education. Correspondence learning, distance learning and open university. Correspondence learning. Correspondence learning is a planned and systematized form of education which relies on the preparation of printed and recorded educational materials which are sent to students who are physically separated from the teachers. The students can get only very limited assistance from their teachers as personal interactions are minimum. Correspondence learning is tailored to meet particular interests of students and allows students the flexibility to proceed at their own pace. Instructional material used is predominantly printed material, though some correspondence courses now offer audio tapes and video tapes as instructional material. Correspondence courses usually involve teachers who correct the paperwork, offer guidance and requested explanations over mail. At the end of a correspondence course, a student may or may not obtain a degree. There is no pressure on the student and the success of the program depends entirely on student motivation. Organized, structured correspondence schools came into being more than a century ago. Distance learning. At its basic level, distance education takes place when a teacher and student or students are separated by physical distance and technology is used to bridge the instructional gap. Distance education is a form of indirect instruction. It is imparted by technical media such as correspondence, printed materials, teaching and learning aids, audiovisual aids, radio, television and computers. It is a form of instruction which is capable of catering for great number of students and even mass audiences. Such a form of instruction would be impossible without the techniques of mass media and computers. Without the mechanization of the presentation of the contents of instruction and of the feedback activities, it would not be able to start, optimize and control it. Thus, distance learning is based on non-contiguous communication, that is, the learner is at a distance from the teacher for much, most or even all the time during the teaching learning process. The concept of distance learning is wider than that of correspondence learning, with which it is sometimes confused. The course material for distance learning is usually prepared on a high technical level by a multidisciplinary team administered by a relatively large institution comprising a wide variety of educational materials, unlike in the case of correspondence learning. The organization and administration of distance learning is significantly different from those of formal education. Students do not attend classes at the institution. except for rate visitors. There are no classrooms for imparting learning. However, multidisciplinary teams comprised of redactors, authors, audiovisual experts and so on meet to plan and compose the materials that will be used. In distance learning are usually no strict academic semesters. The students are free to discontinue studies whenever he chooses to. Open education system in India. India developed open and distance education or ODE system both at school and higher education levels. The objective behind this was to provide opportunity for education to larger segment of population. In order to take care of flexible and learner centric schooling needs of the masses in the year 1979, a project was started by country's Central Board of Secondary Education or CBSE. This project is now taken the shape of National Institute of Open Schooling or NIOS. 1.5 million people are enrolled under this system and it is the largest open schooling organization of the world. NIOS provides access to sustainable and learner centric quality school education, skill upgradation, training through open and distance learning, ensures convergence of open schooling organizations, etc. India established Indira Gandhi National Open University or IGNOU in 1985 to enhance access and equality of higher education through distance mode. IGNOU provides innovative and need based general as well as continuing education to the person from disadvantaged groups, physically challenged, homemakers who are based in remote areas for their educational and professional development. The methods of education under open education systems consist of providing print materials, audio video tabs, broadcast on radio and educational TV channels, teleconferencing, video conferencing and face to face counseling. Its study centers located throughout the country. This mode of education is one of the best ways to impart education to disadvantaged masses. Let us summarize what we have discussed so far. In this unit, we have looked at different structures of education. The three types of education discussed in this chapter cater to the needs of different masses. Non-formal education or informal education cannot be considered as a substitute to formal education, but formal education cannot impart education to all the masses and hence the role of informal and formal education is very significant. Non-formal education can also be organized within the framework of formal education. Field trips and club activities organized in schools can be seen as non-formal in character. Also, there can be elements of formal education in a non-formal education system. Now, you can try to answer the questions given here. What are the criticisms on formal education? What is the history of open education system in India? What is the importance of non-formal education systems? Write any two characteristics of informal education. What are the activities involved in non-formal education? Hope that you can go through the reference books given here. Formal, non-formal and informal education, a holistic perspective on lifelong learning, written by Thomas J. LaBella and published in International Review of Education, volume 28, number 2. Non-formal education, flexible schooling or participatory education, written by Alan Rogers and published by Clover Academic, New York in the year 2005. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic. Till then, take care.